Welcome back, everybody. My name's A Predator54, aka Adam, coach of the Chesney Park Slowpokes, and today I bring you the draft analysis for the TDR Singles Division, hosted by Pat Matt, coach of the Sacramento Sandslashes. We're doing this a little bit differently. This is best of three singles. You bring six Pokemon, but you bring four to each match. So you have to be very, very accurate and flexible with your team builds. There is no restrictions on Terra. You can change whichever Mon gets to do it each game to gain advantage. We get 75 points for 10 Pokemon. And this gets interesting real quick because the only thing banned is Moody and I believe the evasion abilities. There's also item clause. You can have up to 2 items on each Pokemon, I believe. So that's going to be interesting as well. And a hazard heavy meta, even with 4v4, if you're locked into boots on 2 of your Pokemon, that's really bad. Especially if it's 4v4. But I was third pick overall in this league. Last respects, Shedtail, and I believe Revival Blessing were all legal because I did not see any notes on the dock. So this is going to get interesting. Without further ado, I was third pick overall, and I ended up getting Iron Valiant. Coverage galore. This thing is hard hitting, both physical with 130 base attack and special with 110 special attack base. And its speed is insane as well. 1 second, I'll pull it up. I have to do it by phone or else. Oh, it's 116 base speed. That's 184 at max speed. Holy crap. And that's also 200 attack and 189 special attack if you're maxed out. That's insane. If you look at this Mon, do you think, it would get a move like Liquidation? Why? This thing's ability is boosted by electric terrain. It's called Quark Drive. It boosts the highest overall stat, but goes away if the electric terrain goes away. But if you use a item called Booster Energy, it stays. The interesting thing about Booster Energy, say this thing comes in on electric terrain, its ability will activate. If terrain goes away, the buff goes away, but Booster Energy will reactivate and reapply. This thing also gets access to Swords Dance, I believe. Hold on, This gets access to Swords Dance, Hypnosis, Moonblast, Close Combat, Knockoff, Destiny Bond. This gets access to Spirit Break to lower my opponent's special attack. This gets access to Shadow Claws and Headbutt, Dazzling Gleam. This gets access to a Prison to block setup. This gets access to Aura Spear and Focus Blast, Energy Ball, Thunderbolt. Gets access to Trick Room, gets access to Terra Blast, and gets access to Electric Terrain to set up its own ability. This thing just chews teams apart. Granted, I have both a regular and a shiny of this. So I believe my shiny is Kaiba. And my non-shiny is... God, what's the character's name from 5Ds? Yusei? Yeah, it's Yusei. Because it literally looks like dual discs. But this thing just chews teams. I look forward to using it. It hits super hard. And if you're boosted in your speed, this thing is just a choice scarf built in. Okay? I can make up for the difference with Sword Stance in my attack. That's insane. This even gets access to like Fury Cutter, which is weird. Um, X Scissor, a lot of moves. This has so much potential, and I look forward to using this Mon. And then round two came around, and I ended up picking Garchomp. With Iron Valiant being fairy and fighting, it sponges the ice and fairy moves that Garchomp does not like, and is an immunity to the dragon moves for Garchomp. And then Garchomp, vice versa, will sponge some of the hits that Iron Valiant does not want to take. Garchomp is incredibly bulky. The fact that this thing gained spikes this gen is scary. Granted, it lost Scale Shot, so it cannot boost its speed, but it has access to Bulldoze still. It can still lower speed of opponents on switching if they are not ground immunity. Alright. Well, now I have Sword Stance. I have Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. I have Dragon Tail. This Mon can just keep spinning you into hazards, and it won't care. This also gets access to Rest, so it can get its health completely back, and you can just keep chewing into this and taking damage. This Mon is insane. It also gets access to Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Surf, Poison Jab, Iron Head, Iron Tail as well, I believe. Can't remember if it kept that or lost that this gen. But hey, I'll look into that later on when it actually matters. This, even though it's 4v4, can still greatly impact a game. That and this being able to Terra into anything it wants to is amazing. I look forward to using a Garchomp. This is the first time I've actually been able to draft it. Any other time I've had Garchomp, it's as picking it up in a transaction after somebody dropped it, or I'm a replacement coach in Sword and Shield. Haven't used Garchomp in an actual draft myself. And it looks fun. I can't wait to see what this Mon can do and the potential it brings, but it's going to be incredibly interesting. Granted, this team, I will say it now, I got sniped a lot. And a majority of the time, it was by the people that were first and second. First was Pat Mac. Second was DJS. And then Lady Lilac, right behind me at 4th overall pick, kept sniping me as well. So I had to adapt and work around that. So round 3, I got Gomora again. How this made it to me, and I have this toxic top 3 core that resists all of their own immunities, is insane. That and this thing sets free toxic spikes, which puts everything on a timer for Garchomp and Iron Valiant. This gets access to spikes, stealth rocks, toxic spikes, gets access to rock polish to set itself up, gets access to Sludge Wave, Power Gem, Acid Armor to further boost its defense. The only thing this Mon I wish it had was Stored Power, because it would be so easy with Terra to Rock Polish, Acid Armor, get a weakness policy, and just spam Stored Power. That would have been amazing on this Mon. Granted, it's not the bulkiest defense-wise, but special attack-wise, being base 130, just like Iron Valiant, is absolutely insane. And I look forward to using this Mon. I look forward to being annoying with it. I wish I looked into more of what else this gets as far as coverage, but I believe it gets Energy Ball and Earth Power as well. I don't know what it gets physical-wise, but it's mainly going to be a special attacker. Yeah, I wasn't very prepared when it came to Glamora. I'll be honest. It's here to do specific jobs. It's not here to be the absolute breaker. without further ado, we got into round 4. 4 snipes in a row. I settled for Pincurchin because I got so mad that, like, you know what? I'm gonna get Electric Terrain for Iron Valiant. Let's just go all in. That, and I love Peanut. He's a good little nutty boy. Access to Lightning Rod and Electric Surge, but also gets access to Venoshock, which doubles if they're poisoned. Paired very well with Glamora. Gets access to Surf, Hydro Pump, Liquidation, Zing Zap, Thunderbolt, Discharge, Thunder. It lost Rising Voltage, which was incredibly good on this thing back in Sword and Shield. But the fact it can be Terra Electric or remove its weakness completely and become Terra Flying, be able to hit grass types now without having to rely on Poison Jab, is really good. Granted, it can do Venoshock as well, but the fact it can remove its weakness and benefit from it with its high special attack is really good for Pincurchin. A lot of people aren't saying it's not worth it on its own, but I like this mon. Nothing's going to change that. I will bring it. I will not care. I will have fun with it. And if it gets kills, it gets kills. That's on you for letting your mon die to it. This is just shenanigans. And that's my style of play. And then it came back to me, and I got Sableye for a 4-point mon with access to Light Screen, Reflect, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, Recover, Knockout, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, Fake Out, Priority Taunt. That is really good. That also gets Trick. I could just steal your item or trick a Choice Scarf, Choice Band, or Choice Specs on you. You're no longer a setup sweeper. Granted, that is no longer a factor if you switch a Dark type in on this, but if I know you're gonna make that play to, I don't know, bring in Grimmsnarl on this, if I know you're that type of player, Light Screen, Reflect, I'm like Clay. I'll pivot out. I don't care. Screens in a 4v4 meta allows for a mon to literally become broken with one setup move. This is why 4-point screens is incredibly valuable in my opinion. Granted, this team overall, I'm going to tell you now, there's going to be people that love this team. There's going to be people that hate this team. But I'm here to have fun. This is not a team designed to win every single week, because it's 4v4 singles. This is experimentation. I will do whatever I want to and how I want to play. Granted, in the past, there are people that have criticized me for not playing to win. There are people that praise my creativity. There's never going to be an in-between. But either way, I'm going to draft the team I want to. And for the people that respect that, I love all of you. Going into round 6, I got Masquerain. I wanted Webs. I wanted Intimidate. Webs is so beneficial to Valiant and Garchomp, especially if you have to deal with Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, the Quartet legendaries were other ones, and then Palafin, Dragapult. Well, not affected by the sticky webs, but you know what I mean. If I'm able to outspeed and not have to rely on Quark Drive or a Scarf, and they walk into webs and I can freely manipulate a game. Granted, this thing also gets Quiver Dance. This thing hits harder than you think it does. For 4 points, with access to Tailwind, I believe Defog as well. I'll have to double check that. I know it 100% gets Tailwind, but if it gets Defog too, it's worth the 4 points. Intimidate's worth the 4 points alone. The Quiver Dance, the Air Slash, the Hurricane, the Bug Buzz, Ice Beam, all of that, being able to have coverage, a mini Special Breaker for 4 points is really good. Will I use this every week? No, but the weeks I bring it, will I be up to some nonsense? Yes. But hey, more fun. Round 7. I got Flareon. Nothing like a little guts boosted monster of death. With Terra and a few buffs, this spawn is fun. Granted, it also has Flash Fire too. Alright. You have a Sun team. What are you hitting me with fire-wise? A lot of the good Sun Sweepers need Terra Ground to do a lot of damage to Flareon. Granted, Flareon can also Terra. It can remove that weakness of ground, rock, and water and turn it into an advantage with just a type change. And now, instead of Guts boosted Toxic Orb, you can run Flame Orb now if you Terra, which really will catch your opponent off guard. And there's less drawback, because now you're taking consistent 8 damage with Flame Orb instead of Toxic Orb that doubles every turn. Plus you're boosting the Guts. That is incredibly beneficial. This thing with Flash Fire, being able to change into coverage like gaining Water type or Grass type, still has that Flare Blitz boost, still takes less damage, and that with Terra Blast, it can now have a water coverage move. Okay, that's really good. For 3 points, this is a value pick. That's what I see it as. This is also my wife's mascot, and I absolutely love using this thing. I have a few recordings where I'm just being a menace with this thing. I have made people rage quit. It's just fun. And this, I believe, still gets access to Zap Cannon. Will I ever bring that? No. Because I don't want to play the 50-50 game. But yeah, granted, it's not as good as Arcanine. But hey, it's a Flash Fire mon. It's a Guts mon. It hits harder than you think it does. And I look forward to using it. And then I got Cloyster. Cloyster got exponentially better with the aspect of Terra. So, my Spadef is not the greatest, but my defense is 255 max. Alright. Water Ice is weak to Fighting, Rock, Electric, Grass, and Freeze Dry. Well, you can, with Terra, override that and not only turn yourself into something that resists all of that typing, but you can also turn yourself into a typing that resists almost all of the priorities in the game, or at least is neutral. You can become, for example, Terra Dragon. You can become Terra Grass to sponge the electric type move. You can become Terra Normal to only be weak to fighting. That makes you only prone to Mach Punch. And with your defense stat, do the priority moves really matter anyways? No. That and this gets access to Skill Link, Shell Smash. King's Rock is not banned in this league. So, if this goes up, I could Skill Link Cheese. Will I do it? No, because I don't want to. Even if the matchup can come down to me getting that flinch constantly, I don't want to go down that path. So I'm telling you right now, my opponents will not have to worry about flinches. They will have to worry about me being explosive with this, though. And I look forward to using it. The fact that White Herb's still in the game is very beneficial to this. And this mon's so good. They're going to be worried about it in matchup. They're going to be worried about what Terra is this. Am I prepared for it? And can I take it out? This also gets access to Ice Shard and Spikes and Toxic Spikes. It lost Rapid Spin though. So, it can be a hazard setter too. So they have to worry about a lot of things. This can become Terrifier in Sun and get that Sun boost and resist the fire moves. Whew, that is a +2 Terra Blast in Sun. Ouch. Granted, Terra Blast is physical. If that stats higher, that is a physical fire move in Sun. That's Flare Blitz level from a Cloister, which is absolutely insane. This can become Terra Fighting, break their sand teams, while still using its Icicle Spear Stab to kill the ground types. Can use the fighting move to decimate Trianitar if it's not Terra Ghost. That is very good. And without further ado, let's get into the next mod. Bramblegast. Why not? This gets Wind Rider. It is immune to Gust, Hurricane, Heat Wave, Blizzard, Air Slash, believe quite a few wind-based moves like Twister, a lot. If it's wind-based, this is immune to it, and it gets a boost. It boosts its attack by getting hit by a wind-based move. That, and if Tailwind is currently present, aka set by Masquerain, this thing comes in with a free +1 attack boost. Granted, Phantom Force is its most reliable way besides Terra Blast to have a physical ghost move. I do not believe this gets Shadow Claw, which is kind of a waste. I believe it gets Power Whip though, and Seed Bomb. So that's not overly bad. Its coverage is a little lacking, but Terra can make up for that. And I believe it gets Will-O-Wisp. I believe it gets Strength Step. Gets I believe it gets Thunder Wave. I have to double check that. It can be a status crippler at the same time, which is really good. And I believe it gets Spiked, which lowers my opponent's PP by up to 4. Just with one move. And that's insanity. Especially in a meta where recovery is nerfed to 8. If you're killing half the recover with one move, that is drastic. For 5-point Mon, that seemed well worth it. For the immunity to flying, seemed worth it. Being Ghost and Grass, I'm immune to fighting. I'm immune to Spore, Stun Powder, and Sleep Powder, which is really good because Breloom, Venomoth, a few other grass types in this gen get guaranteed grass status moves. This can sponge them, which is really good. And last pick of the draft, because why not? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to draft female because it wasn't on the dock. So I am restricted to only male by technicality because they didn't put male female. But for a 2-point mon, and this gets access to thick fat with its high HP and high defense and decent special defense, this thing can just chew. This also gets access to stuffed cheeks, which makes me eat my berry, gives me +2 defense, and access to body press. So this can turn into a defensive wall rather quickly that halves the damage of fire and ice moves. AKA, I'm going to protect Garchomp. I'm going to protect Masquerain. I'm going to protect Cloyster. That freeze dry is not going to do anything to this mon. This protects Bramblegast. Flareon will protect Bramblegast as well. This is pure normal, so that's also already resisting the fire and the ice because it's neutral. This thing only is weak to fighting. Okay? Sableye, Masquerain, Garchomp, Iron Valiant, Bramblegast, all can switch into that fighting mode reliably. This thing can come in, be annoying. Granted, will I use it in a lot of matches? Probably not. But if the matchup dictates I need to sponge fire or ice, Oinkologne will come. Oinkologne will do what it can. Gets access to Stomping Tantrum, Body Press. I believe Double Edge as well for Stab. Gets access to Yawn to be annoying. So I can Yawn, force my opponent out, set up the stuffed cheeks. If they're switching it as special, it's a waste. But if it's physical, and I'm +3 defense paired with Ganlin Berry, that is a +3 defense Oinkologne firing off Body Press. It's not Stab, but with 166 defense max, multiplied by 3, that's a lot. So that's like 400 plus. Because it doubles at +2, plus the 1.5 on top of that. It's absolutely insane. This mon's going to be like 400 defense, just firing off body presses left and right. And if it sees a ghost, it just clicks Yawn. Okay, now the ghost has to switch. Oinkologne can just come and be annoying to teams. And I look forward to using it. Hide the webcam here for a second. And this is the team overall. Tell me what you think about the team. Leave a comment below if you like it. Like and subscribe if you haven't. And feel free to, if you want to. I won't get mad. If you want to tell me what you don't like about the team, feel free. Because even myself, I am a little iffy on the team. But with that being said, like and subscribe if you haven't. And you guys enjoy your day. Peace.